All right, please take your seats. To your chair. No. And also, I'd like to remind everyone to please silence your cell phones. And once we get going with the award ceremony, please feel free to come up and take photographs of your students, graduates, as we present the awards. Please rise for the entrance of the graduating class and posting of colors. Please do.
Honor guard detail. Post colors. Detail. Pull. Right. Peace. Ready. Sit. Dress. Cut. Present. Arms.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Class Vice President Samuel Deuce.
Order. Arms. Ready. Peace. Forward. Point.
Please be seated. Excuse me. Policing is one of the most noble professions. The actions of any police officer in an instant can impact an individual for life and even a community for generations. Given this realization, every police officer must be centered on what is important. Service, justice, fundamental fairness are the foundational principles in which every police action must be grounded. The nobility of policing demands the noblest of character. Dr. Stephen Covey. Good afternoon. I'm Fred Swanson, coordinator of the North Idaho College Basic Patrol Academy. It has been my privilege and honor to work with this class, Class N0119, as each embarks into his career in law enforcement. Welcome friends, family, and distinguished guests of the graduates of this class. Please join me in welcome to the special guests at the head of the table. To my right, from your right to left, are Dr. Rick McLennan, President, North Idaho College. Dr. Lita Burns, Vice President of Instruction, North Idaho College. Dr. Cassie Silvas, Dean of Career and Technical Education, North Idaho College. Sue Shibley, Division Chair, Business and Professional Programs Division, North Idaho College. The Honorable Judge Clark Peterson, Kootenai County Magistrate Court. And Chaplain John DeKellis, Post Falls Police Department. Welcome and thank you for your support of the Basic Patrol Academy program and the proud graduates. Also like to thank Gabe Grover, Assistant She runs the show, really. The Law Enforcement Advisory Committee, Sheriff Dave Kramer, Chair, Sheriff Wolfinger, Vice Chair, Chief White, didn't see him, Chief Knight, Chief McLean, Sheriff Kramer, Chief Abramson, threw me off, somebody wasn't here, and Mark's not here. We do a lot of reliance on the local agencies for support, so I really appreciate you guys allowing that, providing that support. Without the instructors they provide, we wouldn't be able to operate. And with that, please give a huge thank you to all the instructors and dedicated professionals who have enthusiastically and shared their expertise, knowledge, and experience with this class. Without the dedicated cadre of instructors who constantly juggle their busy schedules to accommodate the academy schedule, this program would not be successful. The instructors are the backbone of the program. Several of them is sitting in this room. And with that, the instructors couldn't do it without their agency support. So again, I appreciate that and thank you for that. The academy schedule demanded student attendance 5 days a week, approximately 10 hours a day, and in some instances late into the night. Whether at the academy, on breaks, at home, or at their respective departments, the students had to study, practice their skills, write reports, and prepare their uniform just to do it all over again the next day. For 15+ weeks, they were ready to be done. This dedication and perseverance took valuable time from their families and loved ones. Sometimes we forget to recognize publicly those closest to us. This includes many of you in this audience. We would like to think, we'd like to recognize spouses, significant others, parents, grandparents, children, and friends important to the graduating class who have provided outstanding support, guidance, and inspiration to the respective student. You have picked up the slack and provided valuable support for your respective students' success. Thank you. Sorry. As the 21st class of the North Idaho College Base Patrol Academy, Class N119 is graduating 6 students. We have 3 from the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office, 1 from the Post Falls Police Department, 1 from the Coeur d'Alene Tribal Police Department, and 1 self-sponsored student. At the start of the academy, I assigned 1 student per week the opportunity to be officer in charge as the class leader. Midway through the academy, the class selected a class president and vice president who then represented the class through the end of the academy. The class elected Kootenai County Sheriff's Deputy Lance Hosey as president and self-sponsored student Sam Deuce as class vice president. Everyone did an admirable job, performed professionally, and in those leadership roles and represented their class well. Academically, the class average was a solid B. This is very impressive considering the amount of information they received each week and the fast pace and manner in which we had to retain it. Some have summarized the semester as getting a drink with a fire hose. To the class of 119, through over 630 hours of online learning, in-class lecture, and practical instruction, you have absorbed a huge amount of information. The scenario-based training and field skills allowed you to put that knowledge to task, and you performed very well. You have sprayed each other with OC, been shocked with a taser, not sure which is their most favorite of those, shot with Sims rounds, endured sun, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, all within the same hour, at the range, EVOC course, and other field training. They swam in 41-degree water, sorry, give you that extra one, and suffered scrapes, bruises, and some muscles and physical fitness and defensive tactics. You endured way too much PowerPoint, took 12 written tests, and did too many burpees, jump ropes, wall balls, and box jumps to count. This took serious commitment on your part, and it is a significant accomplishment. Thank you for your understanding and support when we had to change a schedule or overall plans on a minute's notice. You always embrace those changes with a can-do attitude and a smile on your face. I encourage you to maintain the teamwork and friendships you have formed as you move into your new careers, a career you chose. Keep learning every day, and remember Benjamin Franklin's words, without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning. As you encounter and navigate through difficulties, and when you celebrate your many accomplishments, always remember why you chose this profession. An honorable, noble, and proud profession. As President Calvin Coolidge said, no one is compelled to choose the profession of police officer, but having chosen it, everyone is obliged to perform its duties and live up to the high standards of its requirements. As we stressed in the Academy, the core values of the law enforcement culture and profession include, but are not limited to, professionalism, chain of command, integrity, respect, honesty, self-control, leadership, courage, and strength. These are values to carry you through life and your new career. But let us not forget compassion, empathy, and humility as you perform your duties to the fullest extent of your abilities. I admire your commitment and professionalism, and I appreciate your dedication to yourself, your classmates, your respective agency or future agency, and the community you serve. Congratulations on a job well done. Please join me in welcoming North Idaho College President Rick McLennan to address the class.
Good afternoon. Graduates, congratulations on this achievement. We know you've worked pretty hard to get here today, and I want to congratulate you, and families and friends are here to support them, both as they've gone through this program and as they go into their career. I also want to say thank you for your commitment to this honorable profession and your commitment to the community that you're going to be serving. It means a lot, and we're grateful for that and want you to know that as you head out the door. I also want to acknowledge the unique, strong, and long-standing relationship North Idaho College has with our local law enforcement leaders and practitioners. This program is really truly a program of collaboration between all of our local law enforcement agencies in North Idaho College. And it's because of that collaboration that we're able to, semester after semester, produce just the most outstanding police officers that are going to be serving our community. So I just want to acknowledge the leadership, say thank you, and we look forward to continuing that collaboration to strengthen the program and strengthen the caliber of the graduates coming out of it who will be serving our communities. Again, thank you, and congratulations, graduates.
Thank you. Ready? Please, President Lance Hosey will now give the class president's address. Deputy Hosey, please come forward.
Welcome, honored guests, fellow classmates, family, friends. We're the survivors of class N0119. Back in January, 16 weeks seemed like an eternity, but here we are. When we look back to January, it's hard to believe that the only way we knew one another was by our name tags on the tables. Now we have all-out meme, hopefully everybody knows what that is, meme wars via phone text. We don't actually communicate with one another, it's just pictures, that's it. Outside of class, of course. We've been through a lot together. We've endured long PowerPoint lectures on police ethics, case law, Idaho criminal code, accident investigation, traffic law, patrol procedures, and many other beneficial topics of instruction. We've survived the physical training, in which we'd like to thank Officer Cohen and Officer Tufford and Fred Swanson for the pain, soreness, and the inability to sit down the following day. We survived the many other challenging feats like Taser OC and the emergency water safety training and the warm April waters of Honeysuckle Beach. And that's all a complete joke. It was extremely cold. We all survived the firing range and learned many valuable life lessons from that entire training session. We survived the scenarios, the simulations, where we were instructed to train like you fight and fight like you train. We survived the war stories, most of which have some very redeeming qualities. Some of the things that we'll probably remember the most from these 16 weeks of instruction are the personal experiences related to us by our instructors. One message that came through clearly to all of us from many experienced officers was that the job of law enforcement officer has drastically changed in the last 10 to 20 years. The law enforcement officer today has to be sharper, better trained to handle the more complex requirements of the courts. These last 5 months have helped prepare us for this task. We don't even for a second pretend to think that we've learned all we need to know. It seems that the more you learn, the more there is to learn. But you have to start somewhere. This graduation is a culmination of a lot of hard work, and we're proud of our accomplishment. And we want to thank you all for coming to share this special occasion with us. We have some people we'd like to thank. On behalf of the class, I'd like to thank Fred Swanson and Gabe Grover for their dedicated efforts in making the class run smoothly. We want to express our appreciation to all the instructors and thank them for sharing their wisdom and experiences with us so candidly. We'd like to thank all of our individual agencies and supervisors for their continuous support throughout the academy. And I've saved them for last, but perhaps most importantly, we want to thank our families for standing by us these last 16 weeks and for being our support system in the future. Thank you.
This time we would like to do the class awards. I would like to invite NIC Division Chair Sue Shibley to join me in presenting the class awards. All right, the top physical fitness. The students are required to complete the physical readiness test upon entry into the academy and upon completion of the academy. This award is presented to the student with the highest score in the Idaho Post Physical Readiness Test, which consists of 5 events: the vertical jump, the most sit-ups that can be accomplished in 1 minute, the most push-ups that can be completed, a 300-meter run, and a 1.5 mile run. We present this award to Ethan Mahakam. Excuse me. Outstanding academics. This award is presented to the student with the highest overall grade point average. The grade point average concludes written tests on all topics, includes firearms, emergency vehicle operations, computer-based training, law week, and the final exam for a total of 1,800 points available. We present this award to Ian Krause. The Top Gun Award. This award is presented to the student with the highest combined score in the Idaho Post handgun, shotgun, and rifle courses. I should have had him stay up here, but he needs exercise. Present to Ian Krause. Excuse me. The Outstanding Professional Award. This award is presented to the students selected by his or her peers as the individual they would most want to work with in law enforcement. The recipient exemplifies those characteristics that are in keeping with the finest traditions of the law enforcement profession, including knowledge, maturity, ability, leadership, integrity, judgment, and attitude. The students vote by secret ballot for the recipient. The class presents this award to Nathan Cervantes. The top overall student. This award is presented to the student whose combined scores in academics, physical fitness, firearms, report writing, and practical exercises placed him at the top of the class. We present this award to Nathan Cervantes. For the FTOs in the group, not one of them followed our planned protocol of walking on stage, just so you have that in your head. Now we'll do the Code of Ethics. The Honorable Judge Clark Peterson has accepted our invitation to administer the post-adopted Law Enforcement Code of Ethics to the class. Judge Peterson graduated from Loyola Law School in Los Angeles. He began his career with the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office in Compton, California. He later moved to Las Vegas, where he was a Chief Deputy District Attorney in the Clark County District Attorney's Office. Judge Peterson was a member of the Sex Crimes Unit and also the Capital Case Coordinator handling death penalty matters. Upon moving to Coeur d'Alene, Judge Peterson became a partner at Amendola and Doty. Since his appointment, Judge Peterson was recognized with the IACDL 2012 Statewide Award for Judicial Excellence. Among his other duties, Judge Peterson presides over the Kootenai County Domestic Violence Court. Judge Peterson is the point judge for child protection and juvenile cases and is a member of the Criminal Rules Committee. Judge Peterson has served as adjunct faculty at the National Judicial College, training other judges on the rules of evidence. Please welcome Judge Peterson to administer the oath.
All right, if the graduates will please stand, and I will read the oath to you. At the conclusion of that, I'll have you raise your hand and then repeat the portion where you swear to uphold the oath. Thank you very much. Law Enforcement Code of Ethics. As a law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to serve the community, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence or disorder, and to respect the constitutional rights of all to liberty, equality, and justice. I will keep my private life unsullied as an example to all and will behave in a manner that does not bring discredit to me or my agency. I will maintain courageous calm in the face of danger, scorn, or ridicule. I will develop self-restraint and be constantly mindful of the welfare of others. Honest in thought and deed in both my personal and official life, I will be exemplary in obeying the law and the regulations of my department. Whatever I see or hear of a confidential nature or that is confided to me in my official capacity will be kept ever secret unless revelation is necessary in the performance of my duty. I will never act officiously or permit personal feelings, prejudices, political beliefs, aspirations, animosities, or friendships to influence my decision. With no compromise for crime and the relentless prosecution of criminals, I will enforce the law courteously and appropriately without fear or favor, malice or ill will, never employing unnecessary force or violence, and never accepting gratuities. I recognize the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith, and I accept it as a public trust to be held so long as I am true to the ethics of law enforcement service. I will never engage in acts of corruption or bribery, nor will I condone such acts by other law enforcement officers. I will cooperate with all legally authorized agencies and their representatives in the pursuit of justice. I know that I alone am responsible for my own standard of professional performance and will take every reasonable opportunity to enhance and improve my level of knowledge and competence. I will constantly strive to achieve these objectives and ideals, dedicating myself before God to my chosen profession of law enforcement. Graduates, or perhaps class president, if you will direct the graduates to raise their right hand and to repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution and laws of the state of Idaho, and the law enforcement code of ethics. I will faithfully discharge my duties as a peace officer of the state of Idaho and the political entity I represent, according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Thank you. You may be seated. Congratulations. It's an honor to be here. Judges have a number of difficult duties, but this is a very pleasant one, addressing the graduates of our local post academy. And so on behalf of the courts of the state of Idaho and our local judges of the 1st Judicial District, let me be the first to congratulate you on your graduation from our local post. I also want to thank the directors of post and North Idaho College, Director Swanson, President McLennan, and the others who are related to this program. It's great that we have a local post program so we can train our own officers for our community here locally. This issue is sort of something that's in the rearview mirror for people because it's been some time since that's been established. But for those of you who don't know, you should be aware that until somewhat recently, we trained our officers in another part in the southern state of Idaho. And it was through a lot of hard work by the chiefs and the agencies and NIC to be able to get to have a local post up here in North Idaho. And I think it's just fantastic that we train the officers in the community that they're going to serve. I also want to thank and congratulate the parents and loved ones who are here. We understand as judges the stress on family members, and please know that every one of us prays for you, and we hope that you come home safe and sound to your families and loved ones every night. It's difficult to give this address and not be mindful that we're only a few days removed from the anniversary of the shooting of Sergeant Moore. Greg was a good friend of mine. I had texted him just a couple nights before the incident. His former wife, Jen, was a law partner of mine. His son, Dylan, is the same age as my daughter, Emily. They may not remember it, but they played together when they were kids. And so that's something that really is foremost in our minds when I give this address at this time of the year. And I was thinking about that one day, and it called to mind something I had seen. Some of you may remember a few years ago. Do you remember the bombing, the Boston Marathon bombing? The video of that was very striking to me, and something moved me as I watched it on TV. And I couldn't quite put my finger on it at first. And I rewound the news footage a couple of times until finally I realized what it was that had hit me so hard. In the mass and chaos of the explosion that they showed on this video, people running this way and that, there were a small hand, and everyone's running away, but there are a small handful, a small group of people that were running towards the explosion. And I think that is when I figured it out. I'm not sure I have that in me, but you folks do. You folks are the kind of people who are willing to run towards the explosion. And I just want to thank the friends and families and loved ones that you are giving to us, your young officers, that you have raised young men and women of such character and nobility that they will serve in that capacity for our community. That is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and I want to thank you for that. I have 3 things to tell you folks this morning, or this afternoon. Hopefully share a couple of thoughts of wisdom for you as you begin your careers as officers. The first is, this is called POST. And sometimes when you ask people what that means, they think it's police officer standard and training. It's not. It's actually peace officer standards and training. And I wanted to talk about that word peace for just a minute, because, you know, who's kidding who? Apprehending offenders and things like that is probably the most high profile and exciting part of the job. And every time I give this presentation, there's a little video playing in the beginning of combat training and driving and all that kind of good stuff, and always predictably set to Danger Zone from Top Gun. And I get it. That's exciting. Enjoy that. What that does is it reflects the training that you folks have undergone and that you're able to do those things. And we need you to do those things. But I want to give maybe a more experienced perspective on that word. Remember, when you are apprehending a suspect, going through all that stuff we see in the video, you aren't just enforcing the laws. You actually are the living embodiment of the restoration of peace to our community. And I think that's important to remember, because while it may seem that your job is to respond to a scene, assist a victim, apprehend a suspect, what you're really doing is something much, much more. When there is crime and disruption, there is unease. And behind all of the closed windows that may be perceiving what you're doing are citizens who are thankful that you are there, even if the suspect you're apprehending is not, and even if the victim that you're assisting is not cooperative, and even if people are yelling at you. I want you to know that behind every one of those windows, there is a silent citizen that is very thankful for you being there. And I want to hearken back, as I mentioned Sergeant Moore. I saw something related to that incident that I don't know that I've ever seen before, and that is the community support that is behind our law enforcement officers. So please remember that you may not hear from a lot of people the words thank you, but please know that as the restoration of peace and order that you provide, you are that symbol. Please understand that this job can wear you down. It can feel like no one appreciates you. I want you to remember those closed windows and those drawn curtains, that light that goes off when you folks leave the scene. People sleep easier because you are there, and that is who you are doing this for. And you may never hear from them. So please understand when you say post, peace, and what that really means and what you provide by your service. The second thing I want to stress to you today is please to respect the integrity of your uniform. One of the most impressive things we see as judges is when a law enforcement officer is called as a witness into a trial, and that officer comes in their dress uniform and takes the stand. It is an impressive spectacle. Why? Because of the years and years and years of integrity that is behind it. I want you to remember that you truly stand on the shoulders of giants and of those who have come before you. And there is a long blue line that is deserving of respect. Please respect and honor and build on the courageous service of those who came before you. Keep that integrity without stain, because those who came before you gave it to you untarnished. I ask you to keep in mind through your careers that you pass it on to the next officers similarly untarnished. It's a fine tradition. The third and final thing I have to offer to you as you begin your careers in law enforcement is that as you undertake your job, you will come in contact with a lot of unsavory individuals. And I don't mean defendants, I mean lawyers and judges. Unfortunately, your interaction with us is very one-sided. We evaluate your behavior on a particular moment in question. And in fact, it's part of our duties under our constitutional process to do that. And I want you to learn very early on, please, not to take that personally. And also to understand that it is inherently unfair to you. The decisions you make in a split second I get to spend hours or days thinking about. The decisions you make in the dark of night, I make in a well-lit courtroom. The decisions you make with a gun in your hand, I make with a pen in mine. And the decisions you make with danger on all sides, I make in the certainty of safety, which largely comes from the services that you provide. Yet it is our constitutional duty to review your actions. And the sooner you learn to not take that review personally, the better. Our review is not criticism. It is an important part of our American constitutional process, and I'll repeat that however lawyers ask questions or courts may rule, we all respect you and want you to come home safely to your loved ones. So in closing, let me just say congratulations on your graduation. May you all have long and safe careers. Thank you for your willingness to serve our community. Thank you all for having me here today. Class N119, good luck to you and your loved ones, and Godspeed. And please, no memes in your police reports.
Okay, at this time, we'll present the certificates. I will call Sheriff Wolfinger up first. Please come up, and we'll call in your officers or deputies. Excuse me. Ethan Mahakam. Okay. Ian Kraus. Lance Hosey. Sorry. Chief Knight, have you come up to the podium, please? Blaine Cousins. Got it? All right. Thanks, sir. Chief Abramson. Nathan Cervantes. Last but not least, Samuel Deuce. Thank you. Class, attention. Move to the front of the class, stage. This is what we call the pinning ceremony. For the past few months, members of this class have learned the skills required to effectively do the job of a police officer. They master defensive and arrest tactics, investigation procedures, driving and firearms, criminal law and traffic code, and other objective-driven topics. Frankly, these are topics that can be learned by anyone. However, it takes a special type of person to be a police officer. To be a police officer requires resolute character, humble professionalism, unflinching integrity, unbroken courage, and steadfast compassion. The difference between the average person who has acquired the knowledge taught in the academy and an officer is in how and when we apply those skills and our purpose in doing so. That is why this ceremony is so important. In a few minutes, I will ask friends and family to the stage to pin the badge on our graduates' chests. The significance of this act is to remind the officer every day when he or she dons the uniform that they stand for something important. They are charged with protecting the community, their new extended family in blue, and those they love most, with the expectation that with the special remembrance of getting the badge pinned upon their chest by someone dear to them, the badge is that much harder to tarnish, and they would protect the community just as they would their family. The badge itself stands for honor and pride, dedication and bravery, courage and compassion, service and integrity. The badge represents not just our calling, but it is a constant reminder of the people we protect and serve. It is recognition of the nobility of policing and reverence to our rules as guardians of our communities. Moreover, it is an acknowledgement of those who have come before us, who have shown compassion and bravery, been bloodied, cried, and sometimes died upholding the honor behind that badge. It is more than a piece of metal on our chest. It represents our dedication to professional police service and that we stand for something greater than ourselves. Please come forward and present your officer with his or her badge.
Come on, Ava.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to present to you the North Idaho College Base Patrol Academy Class 119. Class, return to your seats. Thank you. Before we close, we have a couple more presentations. I would ask Dr. Cassie Silvas come forward, please. While she's walking up, I'll kind of explain. She's retiring at the end of the school year. When I first started the academy, I had medallions made for this. I don't know why I'm doing this.
It's going to make me cry.
Sorry. We had medallions made for the students, for the self-sponsored students, and I wanted to give Cassie a medallion from that class as a retirement gift.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. It's like I'm retiring all over again. Did you want to say something? I'm sorry, I didn't. No. Oh, She's been a huge supporter of the program from the get-go, and I appreciate all of her support, and we're going to miss her. Jeez. Another one. Shut up. I'd like to call up David Doms with Idaho Parks and Recreation to make a presentation as well. Mr. Doms?
I want to first thank Fred Swanson and North Idaho College for allowing us to be part of the ceremony today. It means a lot to us. Also want to congratulate all the graduates. What a great accomplishment. Idaho Parks and Rec has the pleasure of working with our county sheriffs and their respective Marine deputies. And once a year, we solicit nominations for the State Officer of the Year. And I'm very excited to be here today to announce the 2019 Marine Law Enforcement Officer of the Year for the state of Idaho is Deputy Ethan Mahakam from the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office. And I'm just going to take a brief moment here to read the nomination that was submitted. The Kootenai County Sheriff's Office would like to nominate Deputy Ethan Mahakam for Idaho's Marine Officer of the Year. Deputy Mahakam was hired in May of 2018 as a seasonal Marine deputy and has since been hired full-time with the Sheriff's Office. Deputy Mahakam demonstrated a tremendous amount of dedication towards the safety of the local community, which was shown through his strong work ethic. Deputy Mahakam placed a heavy emphasis on OUI enforcement, operating under the influence, which resulted in him being the lead investigator on 8 OUI arrests, and he also assisted in several others. Because of his strong work ethic, Deputy Mahakam led the entire state of Idaho in operating under the influence investigations and arrests for 2018. Deputy Mahakam also completed several hundred boating safety inspections and had contacts throughout the summer and proved that he was willing to work hard in all areas of the County Marine Department position. Coupled with his strong work ethic, Deputy Mahakam also showed a high level of courage and professionalism. On August 27th, Deputy Mahakam and his partner responded to a vehicle which had driven off the roadway and into Coeur d'Alene Lake. The vehicle landed in the lake, and it was reported that it was sinking. When Deputy Mahakam arrived, he located the female victim who was trying to get out of the car. Although the water was not deep enough to completely submerge the vehicle, the victim was not able to get herself out of the vehicle. Deputy Mahakam jumped into the water, helped the victim back up on the bank and onto the roadway. The female had just been released from the hospital after a cancer treatment, and without the help of Deputy Mahakam, she would not have had the strength to get herself out of the lake and back to safety. Deputy Mahakam continually treated the people of Kootenai County with utmost level of professionalism and integrity throughout his summer as a Marine deputy. He continually strives to learn and be the best that he can be, all while being at the same time very humble. He is a perfect example of who they strive to be at the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office. Congratulations.
Please welcome Pastor John DeKellis, Post Falls Police Department Chaplain, for the closing benediction.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you realize I'm the thing standing in the way of you starting your career. So they've invited me back a couple of times. I don't think I'm that long. The first time I spoke, I got up here, I could see everybody smiling. I thought they were so excited to see me. And when we got to the car, my wife said, "No, honey, you're the last speaker." So I love her. I've worked for the Post Falls Police Department for 29 years. I'm currently the lead chaplain there. And when I went to the Chaplains Academy, it was kind of cool because we didn't have words like burpee. How many sit-ups did you do in a minute, Ethan? Do you remember? 60, 70? Yeah, we're required to do 3 as chaplains. So just to let you know. Basically, what I want to do is I want to share something with you, give you something, and do something for you. I'm sure they talk to you about below 100, about wearing your vest, and whether it's yellow or it's underneath your clothes, or speed kills, wear your seatbelt, and encourage other people to be involved with below 100. But for me, what's important now really changed my life in regards to everything that I do, whether it's chaplain or in my professional career or whatever. And when I became a Christian a long time ago, someone suggested to me that I tried to decide what kind of Christian did I want to be. I mean, am I going to be the Christian who says, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, and then I go and do all those things? Or am I going to be someone who shows truth and love? But what they suggested I do is I take a piece of paper and write down 3 things of how I want to be a Christian. And I've had those in my wallet for a long, long time. And once they gave me a badge, I put that piece of paper right behind my badge so that I can remember what my duties are, just like we talked about earlier. But on this little piece of paper, it says I need to honor my God, I need to be a spiritual leader, and I need to be a servant to others. And then someone says, well, what about honoring your department? Well, I don't have to worry about that, because if I honor my God, if I'm a spiritual leader and I'm a servant to others, then I will honor this badge that they gave me, and I'll honor the department that I work for. So that's something that I wanted to share with you. The other thing I want to do is give you something. If you can see me afterwards, or one of the family members, I have a book of promises. There's 1,000 promises that God has given to us. And I gave these to people at a department, and some of the people told me that they put it in the patrol car, and before they get started, they pick out a promise and read it. And some people have said that they just have it at home and they read it once in a while. I know there's some people who probably just put it on their shelf, but there's going to come a time when it's going to be a useful tool for them. So see me, and I'll make sure that you get one of those. And then the last thing I want to do is this will be the 3rd academy that I've been here. And what I'll do is I'll add you to my prayer list. Most of the academy graduations have been on Friday, but this one got rescheduled to Thursday. So basically, for the last year or two, every Friday at 1 o'clock, I pray for each of the people who have graduated from this academy. And I would encourage you to do the same thing. We all have calendars. We all have Google Calendar. Maybe you have an old-fashioned book you write things in. But if you imagine if everybody here in this room on Friday at 1 o'clock were praying for these individuals, what power that would give them in what they're doing. So I will make you a promise that every Friday I've added you to my list, and I will pray for your safety. I'll pray for you to honor your department, and just to take all of the things that you've learned and that you've sworn an oath to, and be able to hold up to those. So that's basically all I have to say. That's probably why they'll invite me back next time. So what we'll do is we'll just have a short prayer, and then once I'm done, they're dismissed?
Oh, I'll dismiss it.
Nope, you get to dismiss them. Okay, let's just go ahead and pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for these patriots, Lord. We thank you for people who not only are looking to protect their local community, Lord, but in a way, we have so many police officers, policewomen, men, first responders of all kinds throughout our country, Lord, that work together to protect individual citizens throughout the United States of America. I just ask you would be with each one of these, Lord. Help them to remember their training, remember the covenants of what's important now and the below 100. And I just ask you, Lord, that you would also be with the families, Lord, that they would trust you, that they would not worry about their loved ones, Lord. They have training, they have the support of their department, and they have you to count upon, Lord. And we just ask you that you would just give us all safety, Lord, as we leave here today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Class, attention. Please stand for the retrieval of colors.
Honor guard detail. Keep close.
My fault, I started the music too soon. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Please welcome and greet your students and people you came to visit out there in the lobby for some refreshments as well. Thank you very much.